So,
but the issue, it seems, is that
there you are, Erick.
Oh, this is gonna be a long video. If I gotta sit here and hold this the whole time,
you need you a good tripod for your phone.
That's what we're using.
I know, but all our stuff is packed up. I just saw, so like on the app, you can see, like right next to like the write a comment, there's a little like a request button for me to like. So you know what? I'm okay. I'm gangster. We gonna do this. Let's go. Let's do it.
I like that. I like that.
All right. So,
yeah.
I need my notes.
Yep. I got you.
Okay. So thank you, Erick, for joining us. You just got off a plane from where? Was it? What you were in? What, Bucharest? Or
no,
Romania?
I was in. So I was in Central and Eastern Europe. So I was in Poland to Lviv, Ukraine, back to Poland, down to Romania. Then I went from Romania back to Poland, and then Poland to London, and London to Austin, where I am right now.
Wow,
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Busy travel, man. Like, you know what? This is going to be weird because I'm going to be talking to the screen where I can see your face, not to the camera. So nobody call me out on it.
That's okay.
No
That's
problem.
okay. That's
No problem.
okay.
We're glad you're here.
We are so glad that you joined us. Okay, well, let's just get it cracking.
Yep.
All right, so I'm Vanessa.
Yep, and I'm Jetta.
And together we are Our World, Our Way 2017.
Hashtag, oh wow, 2017.
Yes. And today we have a very special guest with us.
Yes.
Mr. Prince Erick, or Erick Prince.
Yeah.
Better known as Minority Nomad.
Exactly.
So, Erick, we started following you a couple years ago when we first started planning our trip around the world, and we have followed your journey. And from what we understand, you have a personal goal to be the first African American to visit every country?
First African American. Yeah, first African American to go to every country. I think, you know, honestly, it's not really, and the longer I do this, the less likely it is, less likely of a personal goal. The original reason that it started was because nobody had done it before, and I had a small nonprofit foundation that I put together to inspire low-income kids to travel and take up photography, something that kind of saved my life a bit.
Wow!
So once I started the foundation, what I wanted to do was I wanted to do an interview, and this was way in the beginning of Minority Nomad. I want to say this is like 2014, 2015, the early years.
Okay.
And I wanted to do an interview with the person, the African American, who had gone to every country. And I had started doing some research. I reached out to the Guinness Book of World Records. I reached out to National Geographic, Traveler Centuries Club, and asked them if they had information about the person, the African American who had done it. Because there's a long list of the youngest who had done it, and then people who had done it the fastest, and the oldest who had done it, and the first woman. But there was nobody African American who had done it. Mm-hmm. And still to this day, nobody's presenting even a name of somebody that they believe had done it before. So I was like, well, might as well try it because I'm traveling anyway. I think back then I was at about, I want to say like 66, 67 countries at the time that I decided to just kind of do it myself. And now I'm at 93, and there's a sister rolling named, I think her name's Jennifer. I think it's Catch Me If You Can.
I
think it's Jennifer. I haven't met her yet. I don't know her, but we have mutual friends who advocate for her. But I hope she does it before me so I can stop. Slow down. Have some fun traveling again. But
the first black man to do it.
Exactly.
See? Why you got to keep putting these labels? But honestly, to be perfectly honest, one way or the other, I will go to every country in the world, one way or the other. I might do it in 2 years. I might do it in 20 years. Personally, for me, it's not a race. And I think that's what a lot of people get hung up on when they hear it, that it's a race. And it was like, it's not a race for me. It was just something I decided to do because nobody had done it, documented yet. Yeah. And I wanted to raise a that was been the major goal. If you guys do it before me, I wouldn't be upset 1 second.
No,
I would be excited.
No, that's
We
not
won't
our
be
goal.
doing it.
We'll try
Every
with
country
that.
don't want us. We're not doing that.
Yeah. So today we're glad that you decided to join us. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're very.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
So,
And I was a little evasive when that's on the time, like, because I didn't want to commit and then be like, no, I can't do it.
Right.
Because today is, what's today? Today is Monday. My conference it starts in 3 days. I still have to go out today to go scout locations for the photo walk I'm giving.
Okay.
And then I also have to go to the library to photograph that for my portfolio. Then tomorrow I have to go take care of some personal business. Then Wednesday I've got a long day of family stuff. And then that evening we have a mixer for the speakers of the conference. And then the next 3 days after that, I'm at the conference.
Wow.
Then I have one more personal day. And then I fly to Cleveland to go visit family for 4
Wow.
days.
You know, we feel so privileged that you allowed us to just squeeze
out
in there.
No.
It's awesome, Eric. Thank
No, you know what? It's interesting, and I brought this up before. Maybe I was talking to you guys or somebody else, and they were thanking me for taking time to kind of do these. I love doing these because, you know, for me, when I first started, there was nobody like me yet. You know, there was no. But there was only like Onika the Traveler. She started like 2 years before I did. Fly Brother was about 2-3 years before I was as well. But there was no Nomadness Tribe. There was no I'm Black and I Travel.
Right.
There was no Black Travel Movement. There was none of that. So whenever you guys or anybody, any person of color who's trying to kind of promote Black travel or Black expat life, I'm 100% on board to kind of do live streams or share information or knowledge or help in any way I can.
Nice.
all right. Well, speaking of sharing knowledge, the reason why we asked you to join us today is because we started, one of the questions that was asked in our Go Live event was what it's like as a couple to travel versus traveling solo.
Right.
And although we have traveled solo, we haven't done that internationally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've done it domestically. So we know that you're the expert on traveling solo, and we've become experts in traveling, you know, as a couple. So we thought we'd just share that knowledge together with some of the questions that we've received about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So you've already talked to us. You've already told us about how you began traveling, and how you began traveling as the Minority Nomad.
Mm-hmm.
So next question we'd like to ask you. Let's see. So you've been traveling full time now. How long have you been traveling full time?
I want to say 6 years, around somewhere in that range. 6 years. I lose track because it's kind of like I hit the road and accidentally started traveling full time. I was like, oh yeah, I'm out here. Like I would just, because it wasn't honestly, Minority Nomad was never designed to be what it is now. It just kind of, Minority Nomad was just a place to share my photos and, you know, my travels and kind of support the little nonprofit foundation that I had started. But I want to say around 2012 is when I want to say March 2012 was when Minority Nomad really got going. Kind of like when my first blog post was live, like March 2012.
Okay. That's awesome.
That is
So
awesome.
it's amazing how it started out as something different, but now it's like evolved into this like beautiful thing, you know, of you doing this like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at his foundation, it's still the same thing.
Yeah.
Minority Nomad's purpose is to educate and entertain. That's all I want to do. If I have a piece of content, those are the two things that come to my mind. Is this fun? Like, is it entertaining in some way?
Right.
And is it educational? Am I teaching somebody? Am I giving them information or perspective on travel and what it's like to be out here and explore the world as a person of color or as an American or as a human being, you know? So I think Minority Nomad, it it started as what it is, but it grew so much bigger. Where people were messaging me daily saying how much I inspired them and how they started traveling because of me, and how, like, I remember I just posted a video on my Facebook page a couple of days ago of me in Romania at my friend's surprise. Like, that video. Woo! Chicken wings, girl. Yo, the sauce was called they're going to kill me for forgetting, but anyway, the sauce, it's a simple sauce. It's a garlic, oil, salt, pepper. Like, it's really simple sauce, but with fried chicken, it's so good. It was like I was editing the full video today. Oh, the smell! It's you have to go. You guys have to go. Okay. And you go, let me know. I will introduce you to my friends. They will treat you like family. It is awesome. A life. It is amazing. But it was great because I put that up, and I get so many comments from people saying that they never even thought about going to Romania until they start seeing my videos on Romania. Like, they never even thought about it. So, like, when I get information, when I get feedback like that, it's amazing.
Wow. So for us, what got us started where we wanted to be traveling full time, I think we have been traveling really the entire time that we've been together. Jenna and I have been together for 20 years.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. And the entire time that we've been together, we've been travelers, whether we did it for vacation or we did it for work. So like the last 12 years, I traveled completely. Like my job required me to travel 100% of the time.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until we took a really great vacation to Greece and Europe, Greece and Turkey, that we realized, man, this is what life is like about. This is what we really wanted. So that was the catalyst for us to decide we want to do this full time.
Yep, exactly.
It's an amazing life. You know, it really is. It's interesting being back in Austin, and I'm literally in my old neighborhood at the spot. Like, I was walking down the street and ran into a couple of people that I know because this is where I lived for years. And it was just seeing people in neutral, so many people who I love and care about stuck in neutral, who don't know how to move forward, and how repetitive life can be here in one spot, and how frustrated people are, and I'm like, it was funny. The first night I got back Saturday afternoon, and went out for drinks that night because I wanted to kind of acclimate to the time zone before everything. So I get back and I go out with one of my closest friends. We go out for drinks, and I want to say it took maybe 20 minutes before we started arguing about Donald Trump. Like, maybe 20 minutes. And I'm like, yo, B, like, when I'm outside of the U.S. and exploring and traveling the world, politics is like the last thing that I'm talking about with people I interact with.
Exactly. Tell me about it.
I'm like, well, like, why? Like, I ain't seen you in a year and a half and you want to talk about Donald Trump. Like, you can text me that later, man. Let's talk about the weather and life and love and happiness and food and so many other things to discuss. Exactly. And I feel, and I feel foreign. I posted on Instagram today about my feelings about coming back to the U.S. Because I feel every time I come back, I feel more distant from the United States. I feel less of a resident and a local here. I feel more comfortable in a place like Romania, in Cambodia, in South Africa, in Argentina, in hostels where I don't speak the language, and discovering new things. I feel far more comfortable. But here it's easy. I was watching The Price is Right for an hour today. And I was like, this is dope. It's fun, but I can only do this for like 1 or 2 days. It's so easy and comfortable because I started to get anxious. Yeah. And everybody's like, why do you come back for such a short amount of time? And I was like, I don't feel comfortable.
You don't want to be there any longer than you need to be.
I don't feel comfortable. I just don't feel comfortable in the U.S. anymore. And it's not, and saying that, a lot of people feel that I'm knocking the U.S. I'm a proud American, always have been. It's just not who I am anymore. Yeah. And so many people who have not spent, I know a lot of people who've been international travelers who've gone overseas for a week and come home, go for another week and come home. But it's different when you're full-time on the road traveling in other countries.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Very true. Awesome.
All right, real quick. Hey, Gretchen.
Hey, Gretchen.
Gretchen used to work with me.
Hey, what's up to all the peoples? I see a lot of my friends popping in here, in and out. So,
when I was
what's up?
The last 12 years, Gretchen was, we worked together. Hey, Kathy. Hey, Yaya. If Donna's still there, hey, Donna.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. If I missed
Yeah, Donna's my aunt. Donna, you know what? Donna is my aunt. She introduced me to Rastafarian and reggae music.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, I grew up in Cleveland, specifically east side of Cleveland, and growing up there, you didn't have a lot of exposures to a lot of different cultures.
Okay.
But my aunt Donna was always, like, you can see from her picture, like, my aunt Donna was always like the cool Aunt Donna, like, because she knew about, like, Bob Marley and Rastafarianism and all that stuff. So my Aunt Donna was like the first exposure to, like, international anything.
Nice. Wow. We're gonna say hello, Auntie Donna.
Hello, Auntie Donna.
Yeah. Hey, Aunt Donna, I'm coming home too. I'm gonna send you a message later. I'm coming home. You got to come to our little get together next week.
Awesome. So, Eric, thinking about what we're talking about, our subject, right? We're talking about solo travel versus couples traveling the world.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is probably your most favorite aspect of traveling as a solo traveler? Your most. I know that's kind of when you think about it.
I think it's the freedom. I think traveling solo is complete freedom. See, when couples travel, you guys have to compromise. And granted, I've traveled with my significant others before. Like, I have traveled, like, long term with somebody I was dating. So I understand exactly what it takes to travel as a couple.
Yeah.
But traveling solo, I don't care. For example, this trip is a good example. I went to Lviv in eastern Ukraine, only planned for 2 days. I ended up staying for 8 days. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody on my back about it. No compromise. I don't have to worry about when I get up. I don't have to worry about going places I don't really want to go. Like, it's that ultimate freedom.
Yeah.
Granted, and when it comes to couples, I think even if you guys get along, even if you have similar moods about traveling, similar interests and tastes, you still give up a little bit of that freedom and compromise. Yeah. To certain, somebody might be having a bad day. I don't have to worry about my travel partner having a bad day or getting sick. I don't have to worry about those things. So I want to go somewhere. I want to do something. I just do it.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And you're right about the interest because we're not the same individuals, of course, because God created us differently. But at the same time, I think for me personally, when we talk about those differences, it does leave something to kind of open yourself up to, in a sense. Something that you may not have never tried before, but your partner is like into it, so you're like, well, so that whole
that would be the drawback. That will be, if your next question is what the drawback is. It's that you we're gonna keep this interview going, ladies. I think if you were to ask what the drawback of traveling solo is I don't have those experiences that I'm forced to get out of my comfort zone, even though I do in general. It's just me. But I would not, somebody who, for example, I love jazz. And I was with traveling with two people who had never heard jazz before, like never actually going to a jazz concert. Right. And I took them to their first jazz concert. They fell in love with it. I very rarely have those kinds of experiences because I tend to travel alone. So I'm never in an environment where I'm traveling with somebody who would want to do something that I normally wouldn't do. So that would be the drawback to traveling solo. It's, it's a give and take for me.
It is.
Well, I think that one of the things that I like the most about us traveling as a couple is, like, when we're actually traveling, I'm talking airports, buses, we don't have to worry about our stuff because somebody's always with us.
Yeah, you got somebody who got your back, looking out for you. Like, if you want to take a little nap, you don't have to worry about missing your flight because you overslept. Like,
you don't have to worry about taking all your bags with you into the bathroom stall at the airport.
Yeah. Some conveniences.
Yeah.
And of course, you have that unglamorous side of travel. If you get sick or if something happens, you're not there sort of all by yourself. You got somebody to sort of help rub those wounds and take care of you in a sense. But yeah. So there's some pros and some cons on both sides of the coin. when you think about it.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. Yeah.
Let's answer a question. Gretchen just asked, what do you do when you aren't embracing those moments of solitude while traveling alone?
I don't think I understand the question. Could you, like, what does she mean? Could she rephrase that?
I think she's trying to say is when you're by yourself, what do you do when you're not happy about being alone?
Yeah.
Like you'd rather have somebody like with you.
Oh, I meet people. That's the, I mean,
yeah.
I mean, really, that's the thing with me. What you see is what you get. There's no introvert anything about Erick. Like, there's nothing. I meet people everywhere at all times. So if I want to be around people, if I want to interact with people, it's really easy for me. But a lot of people aren't built that way.
Yeah, you're right.
For me, not a problem at all. And I love technology. So I love apps like Couchsurfing and Meetup.
Very true.
Like, it was interesting. Like, Ukraine again. I went to a Couchsurfing meeting. I normally don't Couchsurf anymore, but I do go to a lot of the meetings, like the Meetup groups. And I met the owner of a tour company who gave me a tour, a food tour of Lviv, Ukraine, like Ukrainian cuisine, and we're creating this whole social media campaign. I'm doing YouTube videos and stuff for it. But I mean, for me, I travel solo, but I'm not lonely. If that makes any sense. I travel solo, but I'm not lonely.
Yeah.
Like, but I guess I would be romantically lonely, but socially not lonely.
Right.
You know? So
Erick,
ladies out there, I'm just saying, what's up?
Think about that question. So you said, people are not always wired the same, right? So let's say for someone who is perhaps not an extrovert, they're more of an introvert. And they're a bit afraid, maybe they're a bit timid about talking to people or going up to someone and just saying hello. What would you advise them in terms of just being that kind of person to be easily intertwined in terms of meeting other people while they're on the road traveling for the first time as a solo?
I would say for an introvert, and I run into a lot of introverts when I'm traveling, find a person who's like me, really, really loud in public. Because we will bring a crowd with us one way or the other. Stay in places where other people are staying. For example, I know a lot of introverts who complain about not meeting people on the road, but they stay in hotels and Airbnbs the whole time. Like, you have to go to hostels. Like, hostels are the best place in the world to meet other travelers, to make friends, to get the locals information about a place. Stay in hostels because you are almost forced to interact with people. There's almost no way you can stay in a hostel and not meet people. Go to their and when it comes to cities, and this is a tip that I give people whenever they go to a new city, there's two things you always should do. You should always take a free walking tour during the day and do a pub crawl at night. Those are two of the best ways to meet people when you travel. Even if you're not a drinker, you can drink soda all the time, but you're interacting with people in a social environment where they're having fun, they're looking to meet other people, and a lot of times they're other solo travelers. Couchsurfing is and I know a lot of people, especially solo female travelers, are apprehensive about couchsurfing. But you don't have to actually couchsurf to be part of the couchsurfing community. You can just go to the meetups and meet a bunch of locals and a bunch of other travelers there.
Yeah, I didn't know about the meetings. I didn't know about the couchsurfing.
Yep.
Oh, you know what? We saw them in Richmond.
Yeah.
When we were back home.
Yeah.
People would come through Virginia and they'd have them in Virginia.
It's been a while, but
yeah, it's been a long time.
That's good information that you just gave.
Really good information. Yeah. I never thought about doing that to meet other travelers.
The pub crawl at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, the pub crawls. And really, it's a really good way to get to know people. Right. Like, pub crawls, everybody's happy. Like, well, either they're drunk or they're happy. Like, one way or the other. People are going to be really cool, really open, and really nice. So I highly recommend pub crawls, even if you don't drink.
Okay. Excellent. Good. Vanessa's going to ask you this next question here.
All right, going to get a little personal now.
So, Erick,
as a solo traveler, is it difficult for you to engage in romantic relationships while you're traveling, especially once you let them know that you are not going to be in one place for a really long period of time? How do they react?
I mean, I mean, we could be honest, with a smile like this, I mean, you just beat them off with a stick, you know. Get out of here, ladies. I had enough. Honestly, you know, that's difficult. I should do a YouTube video about this. Actually, I will do a YouTube video about this subject, because it's something that comes up quite often. I like to think I'm a relatively attractive brother, and for me, when I travel the world, I run into a lot of people, a lot of women who fetishize black men. A lot of people talk about the negative stereotypes of being black, but a lot of people don't talk about the positive stereotypes. And African Americans tend to be fetishized as, or presented as sexual beings or beasts, or, you know, just passionate lovers, which, you know, we are, you know, but it's difficult to kind of navigate if somebody likes you for you, or if somebody likes you for just the experience of being with a black man. And then comes in and like, do you really care? Like, how much do you really care? I mean, if you're just trying to have fun, doesn't matter. So that's something that gets frustrating. And it's the expiration date that makes freedom. And again, I'm not a monogamous. I don't believe in monogamy. So that adds an extra layer to the difficulty of finding somebody like that. So
see, that's kind of. Erick, I always loved your candor. I love just how honest you are. Your YouTube videos, you just keep it real. That's the word I'm looking for when I think about you. It's
so bizarre to me how that's a thing. Like, people praise me for that quite a lot, but it's so hard for me to. I don't get it. It was like, how it's so, and I know so many fake people on social media, or in our industry, who are. I was like, yo, B, I know you. You don't talk that. Like, that's not you. I've gotten drunk with you. I know you personally. Why are you talking that way? And it's like, it's so hard to be something you're not. I am the greatest ever at being Erick. I'm the greatest me of all time. Nobody can ever be a better me than me. So, like, why not lean into that? Like, why not be me? And I think one of the biggest issues is people have a problem with being disliked. They have a problem with people disagreeing with them. I don't give a damn if you disagree with me. I'm like, so? It's like, well, I disagree. So? I don't care. Like, it's not going to change my opinion of this thing or change my actions. Now, I think one of my problems is I don't care a lot about hurting people's feelings because I'm so removed a lot now. I'm removed from a lot of those interpersonal relationships.
Let me ask you a question, because it just made me think about another question I want to ask you. In terms of that, do you think you traveling has allowed you or opened you up to be that way? Because I think for me, I'm looking back over the last year, and I'm totally different than what I was before we started out on this journey full time. So I'm wondering if travel has, you know, brought you to that place where you're just like, you know what?
No, I was always that way. Anybody who knows me, I've always been this guy. I have never been anything other than Erick. I've always been me. And I get that from my mother. Like, my mother, you think I'm real? I'm going to do a YouTube video with my mom when I get home. I am nothing compared to my mother. My mother has always been 100% her and never cared about anybody else's opinion on her being her. And there's a strength in that. There's a strength in knowing who you are, a self-awareness.
Really?
And like my aunt says, I've always been me. I've always been the weird kid. I've always been the weird Erick and been okay with being that.
Yeah.
And I think travel has only enhanced it because I think one of the biggest problems that face people of color in the United States is our narrative is always created for us. It's always, we are this. Like, you're, as a black woman or as a black man, you're this. Not only by, you know, the powers that be, but our community does it, our church does it, our media does it, our education system. It always tells you, like, oh, you can't do that because that's white people shit. Black people don't do that. I'm like, no. Erick does that, though. Maybe black people don't do that, but Erick does it. So you either ride with me or you don't. And I think what travel has done in that space, travel has allowed me a platform to spread that view around the world, to give so many other people that voice to be who they are and to be comfortable with that. yesterday I got a heartbreaking message on one of my YouTube videos. I haven't responded to her yet, but she is a biracial transgender woman. And she is afraid to travel because she feels like she doesn't have anything to offer the world. And this is, I'm paraphrasing this right now, and I'm gonna reply to her after this call. But it is heartbreaking to see that, because the world has created this narrative where if you don't fit in these little boxes, these little bubbles, then you have no worth or you have no value. And the reason I'm so confident in being Erick is because I understand my worth, my value first as me. Like, be damned what everybody else says. And then I'm confident enough to present that to the world. You know, so to answer your question, I've always been comfortable in my own skin. And I got that from growing up as a young black male to a single mother in Cleveland.
Awesome.
There's a lot to be said with being comfortable in your own skin. And I think I can speak for Jetta when I say that this first year of us traveling internationally has helped her to become even more comfortable in her own skin. When we started this, she had
good look for you.
locks as long as mine when we started this. You know, this time last year, she had just shaved her head. Shaved it all off. To be free. Exactly. So you got to be comfortable with, you have to be unapologetically you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and you have to, and it's, you know, one thing that travel does, one thing that solo travel does, and that I don't think people talk about enough, it gives you an opportunity to explore who you want to be when you grow up. Like, everybody's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a professional athlete because that's what you're shown. Oh, I want to be a movie star because that's what you're shown. Or to a more noble sense, oh, I want to be a fireman because that's what my dad did. But so often we don't have an opportunity to create our own story, to create our own identity, to who we want to be when we grow up. And I think that's what travel does. You know, I'm 35 now. I think I got a good 40 left. I got a good 40 years left, and I think I'll continue to be growing. You know, 15-year-old Erick is different than 25-year-old Erick. 25-year-old Erick is different than 35-year-old Erick. And I think so many people get stuck in this world where they are who they are. And it was funny. I was talking to my best friend. Mike is one of my best friends, and Mike is so ridiculously stuck in who he is. He can't hear logic anymore. He can't hear anything outside of that bubble that he's created for himself. And mind you, I'm comfortable with telling you this because I told him I was going to start telling everybody about him. and it's baffling to me sitting there, and I was baffled really sitting next to him, and how at 29, he's 29. At 29, how set in his way he is. I'm like, yo, man, you don't even know. This isn't the world, man. This isn't life. This isn't the only way to view things. It's like, I look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very polarizing figure, but he doesn't upset me. He doesn't get me angry like he gets a lot of people. And a lot of people are put off by that, that I don't get emotionally involved or attached to politics. It's because I've been blessed to travel the world and see people, way worse than Donald Trump globally, way worse than him. I've seen the real oppression that people face globally every single day. I've seen the things that the LGBTQ community has to deal with openly. There's like 27 countries where you can get the death penalty for being gay. I might be skewing a little high, but that's the world that we live in. Donald Trump tweeting shit is not on my radar of things to worry about today. You know, and it's like, I think everybody has to step back and decide what is important to them and how they want to spend the next 50 years of their life. And personally, the next 50 years of my life, I want to try to find as much positivity as I can. I want to expose as many people to this kind of lifestyle as I can. And I just want to be a good example for those who come behind me.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome.
All right. So my friend Gretchen just asked, if each of you were suddenly given $10,000 deposited into your accounts, where would you travel to first, and how far could you stretch that money? Well, let me first say that dollars can go a long way, depending on how you decide to travel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And you picked the right spot.
Yeah.
10K can go a long way.
Yeah.
For me, if 10,000, I would use that to. I know exactly where. I go to Africa. I hit the continent, and I would see.
First thought too, Africa, South Africa.
Yeah. Yeah, I would go to the continent. Yeah. The only reason that I have not been to more African nations is because the cost is just so high. The visa cost, the flights within the continent, getting around, it's prohibitively expensive. Yeah. 10,000 would get me a quick one-way ticket to the continent. Yeah. Absolutely, I would definitely. And honestly, I haven't traveled Africa enough to say how far I could stretch 10,000, but I will stretch it as far as I can. I'll tell you that.
Yep. I want to address something that you mentioned earlier when we talked about the romantic relationships. Just go back there real quickly. I think for us, when we talk about that, we can't talk about it from a romantic perspective because, of course, we're together. But I understand about like friendships. I understand about friendships that you sort of, and bonds that you make on the road with people that sometimes it's very hard to sort of say goodbye. Because, you meet these beautiful people and have these beautiful experiences and you're like, wow, and it's almost like, okay, well.
But that's what's great, though. Yeah. Like, I'm never sad. I'm never sad because for a couple of reasons. The first reason, I believe travel, and this is why I think your relationship might be so strong, because I think travel accelerates a relationship clock. 3 days in travel is 3 weeks in real time. Yeah. 3 weeks in real time is 3 months. Like 3 weeks in travel, that's 3 months. 3 months of travel, that's 3 years. Like, so if you travel with somebody for those amounts of time, in real world time, that's how much it means.
So we've been traveling for 3 years then. Is that right? We've been traveling for a year. Yeah. At 3 years?
It's about,
yeah. That's how that emotional attachment, because think about this. When I believe in this concept, there's these friendships by proxy. People are like, oh, it's so hard to leave my friends at home. Is it really? Because you only see those people, like, you don't really see, like, you see those people at happy hours and on holidays and barbecues occasionally. Like when you're dating somebody back home, when you're dating somebody, if you're working a 9-to-5 job, you're going to see that person 2 to 3 hours a day if you're lucky. Because you get home, maybe say 6:30, 7 o'clock, you have dinner together, you're trying to get to bed by 11 o'clock so you get back up and do the same thing. Like, but when you travel together, you're seeing that person all day, every day. Yes. Every single day. Yes. So when I travel with somebody, when I meet somebody on the road, that relationship, that bond is real because there's no pretension about it. Right. People who are traveling, they don't have time to be fake. They don't have time to put on a show because they ain't got to worry about your feelings tomorrow. They are really going to be who they really are. Because think about how many times have we worked 9-to-5 jobs and we had to be nice to somebody that we really didn't like because we didn't want drama in the office, or somebody in your class that you didn't want to have to deal with every single day, or somebody who's friends with your girlfriend or your boyfriend and was like, yo, I'm going to have to see this person so I can't say what I really think. Right. But when it comes to travel, you can be whoever you want to be, 100% real. And most people do that. Yeah. So those relationships, if you're friends, you're real friends. Yeah. So, for example, my friend Aline, you guys have maybe seen my YouTube videos in Romania with Aline Popescu and his family. They adopted me. I'm like the black Romanian in Romania. Like they get me on national news in Romania. Like, I didn't even know. Like, I went back to Romania, and this last time, and my friend's mother said I made her living room famous because the national news in Romania had got a hold of one of my videos and they put it on TV. Wow. And it was like me trying this traditional Romanian cake. And it's because Aline is one of my best friends, and we met traveling. We met on a hilltop in northern Romania, taking pictures. Okay. And we've been friends ever since. Nice. And it's like, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about that, that pain of leaving. Yeah. But the good thing about being Erick is they know I'm coming back. Right. They know I'm always going to ask them to crash on their couch. Then I'm like, look, that's part of your Erick friendship contract. When I come to town, you got a place for me to crash.
Yes.
Yeah, so true.
So that's why for me, it's never goodbye.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I'll see you in a couple months.
I totally agree with that, Eric. Totally agree with that. Wow.
All right, so last question we want to talk about is safety. What are some suggestions or some tips that you can give people who are solo travelers to make their journey safer while they're traveling solo? Abroad.
Okay, so this is a little bit. So I'll give from a male perspective and my advice for females. If my sister or my ex or whoever was traveling. From a male perspective, I tell men don't look like a victim. Hit that gym. Again, it's one of those African American stereotypes that work in my favor. I'm a decent sized black male. And a lot of people don't mess with us. Criminals look for easy targets. It's just the way it is. And if you look like they can rob you and get away with it, they're going to rob you and get away with it. So make sure you don't look like a target. Try to look as broke as possible. I don't know why people be out here stunting when they're traveling. I'm like, what are y'all doing? I wear the same shorts every day if I can. I look broke. Like, I'm making sure
Eric,
nobody think I got no money.
Let me tell you, that clothing is something we don't think about, okay?
Not anymore.
We wear the same clothes. We got to pack all of our stuff and carry it on our backs. We're not trying to carry a whole suitcase worth of stuff.
Yo, I'll throw it in the garbage. Like, I'll wear it. So oh my God, my ex got me so mad the other day. So let me tell you this quick story.
Yeah.
So I was with my ex-girlfriend. And my ex-girlfriend is kind of bougie. Actually, she is very bougie.
Okay.
Like, she's like one of those beautiful, high society kind of girls.
Okay. So
we were hanging out, and I don't know what happened, but she goes, "What happened to your shorts?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Turn around." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "Bend over." I'm like, "Okay." And then, so the crotch of all of my shorts, they wear out because I got thunder thighs.
Right.
So instead of buying new shorts, I just get a patch. I get a patch and sew it in. And I was like, I ain't spending another $50 on a pair of shorts. I can mend for $2. What's wrong with you? So she was literally clowning me over it. I was like, yo, do you see how much I get to travel the world? Yeah. That's because I don't waste money on $50, $60, $100 pair of shorts when I can fix them.
Yes, sir.
Like, I don't care about those things.
Sure.
It's a priority to me. So for me, I think that is a great travel tip.
Yeah.
To look as broke as possible, and you can keep as much money as you can. Yeah. Another thing is, if you're going to stay in hostels that are rated 8.5 or above on Hostel World. Never stay in a place that has less than an 8.0 security rating. Make sure you always have a SIM card. I think that, like, when I get to a new place, the top thing that I do is get a SIM card in my phone. So in case I get lost, it's an emergency, I can be okay. I can, if I'm like, there was a story. I want to say it was a couple in Bali or Thailand where they fell off of a cliff. And the guy was able to get to his phone and send like a SOS to his Facebook page, and people found him. You should Google it. It was a really great story. Wow. But it shows the power of technology, having a SIM card. Yeah. If he didn't have a SIM card on his phone, they would be dead.
Wow.
Period. They would be dead.
Yeah.
They were on a motorbike. They went off the edge. They would be dead. So always have a SIM card in your phone.
Yeah.
Also, if you're a female, do not get blackout drunk. And and I'm sorry, ladies, and I've been called out for this about some other solo female travelers, and I tell them they're full of shit because they're putting women in danger by saying women can do everything that men can do. No, you can't. I'm sorry, ladies. No, you can't. Because here's the simple reality. As a male, I have never had to worry about getting raped. I have never, ever had to think about, hey, how do I not get raped today? That has never crossed my mind before. But as women, I have never met a woman who can honestly say, as a woman, I've never thought about not getting raped. Right. Like, that's a very real issue for women. I cannot tell you how many women that I believe that I've saved by just being a friend. I'm like, yo, dog, like, she's too drunk. Like, she ain't going nowhere with you, fam. Like, it's insane to me how many young female travelers go to new countries by themselves and they get blackout drunk.
That is crazy.
And here's the reality, especially the US, Canada, they have laws, they have cultures that protect women to a certain extent.
Right.
Mexico, no. Thailand, no.
Yeah.
Romania, no.
Yeah.
South Africa, no. Jamaica, no.
No.
Sorry. It's just and I hate saying that because women should be able to go anywhere they want, do anything that they want, travel how they want, do everything that I do. But the reality is everybody is just not that way.
Yeah.
So women, you have to look out for yourselves. Don't get blackout drunk. Make sure you guys can get to safety. Try to surround yourself with people that aren't shady or don't seem shady. Because you met somebody in a hostel yesterday does not mean that they're your best friend.
Exactly.
Shady people stay in hostels too, you know. And when it comes to hostel security, always have a lock. Never show people what you have. It's easier for people to rob you if they know you got something valuable. But the mystery is something that people don't like. So make sure you have a very good lock, and make sure you have two locks. Make sure you have a small luggage lock, and make sure you have like a big master lock. Here's why. Because a lot of hostels around the world, they don't have the big lockers. They have the small lockers that only take the very tiny lock. And then reception, they'll rent you a lock or whatever. I don't trust people who work at hostels.
Exactly.
So I always got my own. And I don't use, and I tend to like a tumbler lock. Tumbler locks are a lot harder to pick than actual like key locks. So plus you don't have to worry about losing the key if you go out and get drunk. So definitely have locks. And let me see if I got one more for you. Let me drop one more nugget. No, that's all I got.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
And yeah, like Donna said, street smarts. If you wouldn't do it at home, don't do it overseas.
Exactly.
And even if you would do it at home, you may not want to do it overseas. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've got a piece of advice for single women or single people, period, especially if you're going to be staying at a hotel. When you check in, tell the front desk that you are not expecting any guests. Okay?
Yeah.
In case
Comments down.
Followed you.
Yeah.
So just in case someone followed you where you are. And let your friends and family back home know where you are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Register with the Smart Travel Enrollment Program. It's completely free.
Oh, yeah.
It registers you in the country that you're visiting so that if something happens, some natural disaster, or if your family is trying to find you and they can't reach you, if your cell phone's down or what have you, they can contact the local embassy and the embassy can find out where you are and get you in touch with your family in case there's some kind of family emergency.
Yeah. They also
they
send you, I was going to say that part too. They send you alerts too, letting you know what's going on in the country that you're in case anything break out.
I'm still getting alerts from Guayaquil.
I still get it. I gotta stop. I always ignore those. I'm like, I'm going anyway. It's like, go ahead, give more alerts, make it cheaper for me.
Auntie Donna, it's the STEP program, Smart Traveler Enrollment Program.
Yeah,
if you just Google STEP or Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, go straight to the website and it lets you fill that information out, and it keeps track of where you are.
Yep.
Another thing you want to add is the deadbolt on the locks on the door.
Yeah, when you check into your hotel, or if you're in a hostel and you have a private room, double check that the locks work.
Yeah. Also, put a doorstop. Like travel with a small doorstop, and people can't get in even if they get around the lock. So, or at least give you time to do something about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I think also, let me go back to one foundational thing that I advocate for women. Y'all got to start defending yourself. Women got to start learning how to throw them hands. Like my little sisters know how to throw them hands because they grew up with a bunch of brothers. But there's so many women that I know who refuse to take self-defense classes. And I've been practicing jujitsu since I was about 19. And it is one of the best ways that women can learn to defend themselves. A lot of things that happen, a lot of assaults happen because there's no consequences for so many men. But a lot of men think twice about assaulting women. You think most average guys are not going after Ronda Rousey because they know what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. And it's like, and I'm not saying become a MMA fighter. What I'm saying is take basic self-defense classes, because not only does it get you in amazing shape, but it gives you the tools to defend yourself. Because the world is very harsh. People should be able to come and go as they please. They should be safe and protected, but the reality is not that. So make sure you have at least the basic tools to take care of yourself.
I agree with that. I can't tell you how many times we've traveled and we've gone through some seedy places. And no one has even thought twice. And I think it's because they see me
because of her,
and they wonder, you know.
I have to say that men in general are intimidated when they see her,
and I don't know why.
So they don't mess with me because they are afraid they got to deal with her.
Yeah.
I get it.
Exactly. Yeah. I will also add this one thing here, Eric, is that people always want to ask you where you're staying, you know, when you're traveling. They always want to know that. And for us, it's like, I don't know you. It's a very invasive question, because it's like, well, why do you want to know where I'm staying, you know? So
yeah, and I normally answer that like and it's different for a guy, especially a single man. I mean, and it's a common scam. Oh my God, women. So many women like, and see, and I don't want to call out any countries because I don't want to be shady, but there are places, you know, I'll call them out. So Turkey, Colombia, Argentina, Brazil. It is a huge industry running up on dudes, meeting a single guy, get him a little tipsy, like, oh, where you staying? Oh, I'm staying at this hotel. She rolls through, knocks on the door. You open the door, like, hey, how you doing? What's up? I'm coming in. It'll be €100 for the night. And dude's like, get out of here. No, kick rocks. If you don't give me money, I'm going to say you tried to rape me, or I'm going to say you hit me.
What?
And then it's an issue. And then it's common. That's common. Turkey.
I've not heard that.
Turkey. Yeah. Turkey is like, oh, where you at? They'll go to the club. You meet a pretty girl. They'll run up the tab at their friend's table, and then they'll make the guy pay it.
We talked to somebody who had that happen to them. Yeah. They went out with some people that they met at their hostel or hotel or whatever, and they were drinking. Oh, everything's going to be on the house. Those people ghosted them and left them with like a $300 bill.
Yeah. It happens common, like guys, like strip clubs. Like I'm a strip club connoisseur, and you know, a lot of guys, single men, we like to go to strip clubs. We like to go to the clubs and stuff like that, and they know that. Yeah. So what they'll do is you'll go to a strip club and say, "Oh, it's no cover, drinks are like cheap, whatever," and then all of a sudden, you know, you're like, "Oh, you want to buy the girl a drink?" You say, "Yeah," and the drink is €100 for the ladies. You know, so it's something that a lot of guys have to be aware of. Very, very common scams.
Good info.
Beautiful women get over. Beautiful women are dangerous. It's a dangerous thing.
Good info.
Dangerous ladies. Like, I tell guys this, and I joke. I was like, look, if she too fine for you at home, she too fine for you traveling. Like if dime pieces ain't running up on you in Buckhead, don't think they're gonna be running up on you in Turkey, player. Right. So just keep it moving. Like, nah, girl, I'm good.
Wow, that's good info too. Adana, she says she always tells people that she's staying near a monument or in a general area. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, right. Same here. It's like in Turkey. Turkey's a great example. It's like, oh, where you staying? Oh, I'm staying over in Taksim or Sultanahmet. Never the exact place where I'm staying.
Yeah, I'm staying on the Galata Bridge. How about that?
Right.
Yep.
Well, Eric, we appreciate you basically having this time with us. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's my birthday tomorrow. So, you know, you just blessed me with your presence. Thank you so much.
And then our legal wedding anniversary is on Wednesday.
Yeah. So this week is kicking off with
congratulations.
Yeah, we can't wait to one day meet up with you on the road. Of course, you know, we're looking forward to that.
For sure.
It'll be in Romania. We can get some of that garlic sauce for them wings.
You don't even know. It's oh God, I'm tasting it already in my mouth. It's lunchtime here. It was so good. But I think you guys are still in South America, Central America?
We're in Mexico now. Yeah.
So I'm heading back to Europe on the 29th.
Okay.
Then I'll be in Europe. I'm going to Morocco, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, running around for maybe a month. We have TBEX, no, World Travel Market in London.
Okay.
And then I'd fly to Thailand on November 12th. So I'll be in Asia. I got India, Philippines, and all those places. So if you guys decide to come out to Southeast Asia, I'll be there from November until March.
Okay.
March, I'll be back in Europe, and then I'm coming south. So March, April, May, I'm trying to be in South America, Central America. So that's my schedule, and let's figure it out.
Where in South America you plan on going?
When are you looking at traveling to in South America? Are you sure yet?
South America, definitely Argentina, Brazil, Colombia, Peru, and maybe Venezuela. It's popping crazy out there, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But definitely. Yeah, I don't know. But I want to check out Bolivia. I keep getting invited to Bolivia, never been, so I'm thinking about going to La Paz.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Colombia is a place that we want to visit. We haven't been there yet.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love Colombia. Y'all married, but woo, Colombia, woo!
Awesome.
It's great. You guys end up in Colombia, let me know. I will definitely. I always need a good excuse to go to Colombia, so I will definitely be there. I think that's the first stop because I'm supposed to be meeting a good friend down there. So March, April, I will be in Colombia.
Okay. Awesome.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah. I want to get down there for Easter. It's amazing during Easter. Great time to be down there.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thanks, Eric, and have a great time home.
Thank you so much for joining us.
And we're still following you as well.
Of course.
So yeah.
Everybody, make sure you.
Of course.
Friend Eric here. He is the Minority Nomad.
Yes.
We'll have his contact information in the description box there of the video.
Yeah.
And as always, from #OWOW
2017. All right, Eric. Talk to you later. Okay.
I'll see you guys later. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.